All right, so let's talk. I bet if you've been on YouTube or TikTok lately, you've seen like 100 videos from digital nomads telling you how Vietnam is this absolute paradise. They're always like, oh my god, look at this lifestyle. You can live here for like $500 a month and eat banh mi every day. And honestly, they're not wrong. But man, you gotta realize something. They are earning in US dollars. But what about the locals? What about kids like me, born and raised right here, whose families don't make dollars? What happens when your whole household income is just $200,000 a day? That's like, what, $8 for the entire family to survive. Today, I'm 23. I have what people call a stable job in the 3D industry. But to sit in this chair, in this room, I had to go through a meat grinder that almost broke me completely. So if you want the real, unedited story of what it actually costs to live and survive as Gen Z in Vietnam, grab a drink and let me break it down for you. So if you're wondering where this actually is, we're living all the way out in District 12. And honestly, most foreigners have probably never even heard of this place, let alone visited. It's an industrial zone, and to be blunt, it's always had a reputation for being pretty sketchy, like high crime, lots of gangs, and mostly just blue-collar manual workers. But for me, it actually makes perfect sense. Why? Because the rent is dirt cheap. We pay 4 million Vietnamese dong a month, which is like, what, 160 US dollars? And for 160 bucks, we get a whole 2-story house with 2 bedrooms. It's tucked away in an alley. We have a small park right in front of the house with tons of trees, and man, it is so quiet. Zero street noise. But of course, there's a catch. It is incredibly far from where I work. My office is about 9 kilometers away. Now, 9 kilometers doesn't sound like a lot to people in the West, but in Saigon, that's like a 45-minute nightmare drive every single day just because the traffic is absolutely brutal and you're constantly stuck. But even with all the dust and the crazy traffic, I still love this place, man. I've been living here for over 3 years now, and it's really become our sanctuary. And yeah, I don't live here alone. I actually live with my older brother, my sister-in-law, and my girlfriend. It's like a full house, you know? Anyway, this right here is my brother's room. It's definitely way bigger than mine, but honestly, he has to store like a ton of stuff in here, so it gets kind of crowded. And well, this one right here is my room. Honestly, me and my girlfriend spent a crazy amount of time and money just setting this whole place up, renovating it so it looks decent and has that perfect vibe. Because, you know, we're both artists, and we literally need a space that actually inspires us to get into the zone. I end up spending like 14 hours a day right here. If we rewind back to high school, I was just a ghost. I had zero clue who I was, what I wanted, or what I was supposed to do with my life. Like, looking back, I actually had some things going for me. I was that kid who loved tinkering with stuff. I would break apart electronics, tear down toy cars, mod them, and I could draw pretty well. My friends and teachers were always like, bro, you have a gift. You should do something with arts. But when the time came to actually choose a university, total blank. I had absolutely zero ambition. Why? Because of the culture here. In Vietnam, we have this thing called being a good kid. And being a good kid basically just means you gotta be obedient. You don't question things, you let your parents, your aunties, your uncles draw the blueprint for your entire life. We are taught from day one, hey, just do the small things first. Follow the instructions, do what you're told, and then later, when you're older, you can do whatever you want. But here's the massive trap that nobody warns you about. You spend your entire youth, the prime years of your brain, just executing other people's visions. You get so damn good at following orders that when you finally get your freedom, when you're finally allowed to make something big, you look in the mirror and realize you completely forgot what you actually wanted in the first place. You become an adult who is excellent at being told what to do, but completely paralyzed when left alone. And that was exactly me at 18. The whole wake-up call happened because of my middle brother. This guy, he was just like me. He went to school for electrical engineering, not because he liked it, but just to have a degree like everyone else. He hated it, obviously, so he dropped out and started learning how to be a video editor. He saw me struggling and was like, "Look, you like drawing, you like tech, you should look into multimedia." He found this college, but when we checked the tuition, 60 million Vietnamese dong. 60 million Vietnamese dong is roughly 2,400 US dollars. Let me put that into perspective for you. My family's total income back then was around 200,000 a day. That's like, what, $8? If you do the math, 60 million was an impossible fortune. It felt like trying to buy a mansion. We just didn't have it. So my brother told me, forget college, learn online. It's cheaper and more practical. I went to my mom, begged her for 8 million Vietnamese dong to buy this online 2D illustration course. I locked myself in my room, grinded day and night, and I actually started building some solid foundations. But right when I was like, okay, maybe I can make a living out of this, boom, generative AI exploded in the 2D world. Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, everywhere I looked, people were saying 2D artists were going to lose their jobs. I looked at my art, looked at the AI, and honestly, I panicked. I knew if I stayed there, I'd be obsolete before I even started. So I made a crazy, ruthless choice. I wiped the slate clean, ditched 2D, and jumped headfirst into 3D. I spent another full year completely self-teaching from scratch, praying that AI wouldn't catch up to 3D too fast. So with 0 degrees, just pure YouTube and online courses, I applied for a training slot at this top-tier 3D outsourced studio. It's basically the Harvard of 3D artists here. Competing against art school kids felt completely impossible, but somehow I got in. But man, the celebration ended fast. The training was a 6-month mental gauntlet, and the stipend? Just 3 million Vietnamese dong, like $120 a month. In Saigon, that didn't even cover rent. My mom literally had to send me money from back home just to survive. Desperate for cash, I started a side hustle selling custom t-shirts on TikTok. People loved the designs at first, so I threw my tiny savings into a custom print factory. But they were super slow and expensive. By the time the shirts were ready, the hype was dead and customers straight up ghosted me. After all that grinding after my 9-to-5 training, my total profit was a pathetic $300,000, like $12. But I'm stubborn, right? I spent the next 6 months finding a better factory, bought a new phone, and relaunched. And when I posted the new drop, absolute flop, 0 views. Maybe the algorithm shadow banned my new device, who knows, but nobody saw it. Suddenly, I was staring at a mountain of unsold shirts and a $6 million debt to my brother. I completely broke down, man. I just sat on the floor in the dark and cried my eyes out. The pressure of failing everyone, my family, my brother, myself, it felt like a ton of bricks on my chest. I tried to fix it, tried again, and just kept failing. And honestly, it's not just about my industry. Look at the college students working part-time jobs in this city. They are heavily underpaid, man. Usually they only make like 20,000 to 30,000 Vietnamese dong an hour, which is literally about 80 cents to $1.20. It's a heartbreaking reality. Think about it. A regular drink at a decent cafe costs around 40,000 to 60,000 Vietnamese dong, like $1.60 to $2.40. That means these kids can't even afford a single cup of water with 1 full hour of their manual labor. You'd think, who the hell would accept that kind of pay? But there are so many young kids out there doing it. They just want to help out their families with tuition, or simply have a bit of pocket money to survive. I used to do this exact kind of work, and man, it is completely exhausting. When you're grinding those shifts, your energy is completely drained. You come home and you literally have 0 mental capacity left to think about your future, let alone build skills to escape. And honestly, that's the darkest part. That is exactly how capitalism burns through young, desperate labor. It consumes your time and your energy, leaving you with just enough to survive, but never enough to grow. And to even make that 45-minute nightmare commute possible, I needed my own wheels, right? Because I couldn't just keep borrowing my brother's bike forever. At first, I was just planning to get a Honda Vision. It was around 30 million Vietnamese dong, like 1,200 bucks. Simple, gets the job done. But my brother looked at me and was like, "Man, if you're gonna buy a bike, just buy a really good one. Plus, Vision is kinda a girl's bike." Honestly, I didn't give a shit about the gender thing, but he told me to get a better one and that he'd help me out with the cash. So I ended up getting this Honda Vario for around 50 million Vietnamese dong, which is like $2,000. And the crazy thing is, this was literally my dream bike back in high school. I used to watch people ride it and just fantasize about owning one. And suddenly, at 20, I had it. It wasn't charity, okay? My ego would never let me just take his money or my mom's money as a gift. I insisted on paying them back 3 million VND every single month, which is like 120 bucks. But just do the math. Back then, I was an office worker making a miserable 8 million a month, which is around 320 US dollars. Cutting out 3 million immediately left me with just 5 million Vietnamese dong for rent, food, and surviving in Saigon. It was tight, but I was doing okay because I had some freelance gigs on the side. But then, toward the end of the year, boom, the freelance market just straight up froze. No clients, no extra income, nothing. Suddenly, the financial pressure just suffocated me. I was so stressed out that I remember sitting right here on the floor, in the dark, just crying my eyes out. My brother actually saw me like that, and he told me later that seeing me completely break down scared the shit out of him. So he walked up and was like, "Hey, look, don't worry about the money right now. Let me cover the payments for a few months until you get back on your feet." He carried that weight for me, and eventually things got better. I made sure to pay him back every single cent, and I finished paying off my mom too. But man, that entire situation, it was a massive, brutal wake-up call. I realized that having a quote-unquote stable job in Vietnam is a complete illusion. It is not enough. Like, think about it. This was just a motorbike. And I was lucky because I was borrowing from family who had my back. But what if it was a real bank loan? What if I suddenly got seriously sick? Who is gonna pay for me? Nobody. And honestly, just like every other young person in Vietnam right now, we're all trying so damn hard to break out of this quote-unquote stable job trap. This country is developing at lightning speed. If you choose to just sit still with a basic salary, the economy will outpace you in a heartbeat. The wealth gap is widening so fast, and once it crosses that breaking point, hard work won't even matter anymore. Catching up becomes almost mathematically impossible. Oh, and by the way, big shout out to the local bike wash guys in the neighborhood. For just 30,000 Vietnamese dong, which is like $1.20, you get a flawless, super clean manual wash. Honestly, it's 10 times better than those automatic washing machines because these guys actually take their time, look at the details, and make sure your paint doesn't get scratched up. Absolute steal. See those guys zooming past on motorbikes with the massive bags? Those are delivery drivers. But in Vietnam, everyone just calls them shippers. English in Vietnam is pretty straightforward, you know? People here took the word ship, turned it into shipper, and boom, now it universally means delivery guy. And let me tell you, these guys are the literal backbone of the city. The reason they're everywhere is because e-commerce here is absolutely insane. The biggest platform by far is Shopee. It's dirt cheap and stupidly convenient. Pretty much everyone in Vietnam buys online now because the options are endless. You can literally find anything, even the tiniest, randomest object you can think of. Plus, the perks are wild. You get non-stop discount codes, free shipping vouchers, and if you don't like the item, you can just return it completely free of charge. It's so addictive that you'll have a shipper knocking on your door basically every single day. Now, if you walk around Vietnam long enough, you'll constantly see these ladies pushing carts or riding bicycles loaded with trash. We call them Ve Chai, which basically means scrap collectors. They travel through every single alley to buy old, unwanted stuff for recycling. And everything is priced strictly by weight and material. For example, plastic might get you around 10,000 Vietnamese dong, like 40 cents a kilo. Iron is about 8,000 Vietnamese dong, around 32 cents. But copper? Copper is the real jackpot, fetching up to 200,000 Vietnamese dong, which is like $8 a kilo. Sometimes they just buy whole items flat out, like an old bicycle or a broken motorbike. After a long day of collecting, they bring everything to a local scrapyard, what we call a vua dong nat. This is where the real industrial magic happens. These yards are like sorting factories. They will completely dismantle everything to maximize profit. Take an old motorbike, for instance. They'll strip it down to the absolute bare bones, separating the plastic shell, the iron frame, the aluminum parts, and the copper wiring into different piles. Now guess how much a medium-sized scrapyard can actually make every single month. Brace yourself. 300 million Vietnamese dong. That is literally 12,000 US dollars a month. Now, disclaimer, definitely not this exact uncle running this yard right here, okay? If he hears this, he's gonna straight up cuss me out. This is just a crazy fact I heard from an acquaintance about a typical mid-sized yard. But still, 12,000 bucks a month from liberal garlic is insane. But look, that kind of money doesn't come easy. The trade-off is brutal. You are working in a highly toxic, filthy, and dangerous environment every single day. Plus, you need serious, expert knowledge to run a place like this. You have to look at a pipe of junk and instantly know its exact market value. Even plastic is split into a dozen different grades, and iron has multiple categories. Honestly, I have mad respect for these people. They have the vision, the hustle, and the absolute grit to build a literal empire out of things that everyone else just throws away. So to end the day, we're just having a cozy dinner with the family. Tonight, we're actually eating lo rao, which is literally a vegetable hot pot. Sounds a bit unusual for a hot pot, I know, but the main toppings are just fresh greens that my mom sent up from the countryside this afternoon. Vegetables from back home have way less pesticides, so honestly, they taste incredibly fresh and sweet. I don't really know why Vietnamese people are so obsessed with eating veggies, but it's probably something passed down from our grandparents' generation. For me, I just grew up watching my parents enjoy eating greens so much that I naturally started loving it too. It's crazy how much your parents' behavior silently shapes who you become, right? Like, their habits just become your habits. Now, usually we eat downstairs, but dude, eating hot pot in this brutal Saigon weather without an air conditioner, you'd literally pass out. So we packed everything up, moved it into my room, cranked the AC up, and watched a movie together while eating. It's just great quality family gathering time. Definitely a +1 to our bonding. Looking back at everything, I'm just a 23-year-old kid who is slowly figuring out the different layers of life and trying my best to break out of my comfort zone. My ultimate goal right now is to go abroad, broaden my horizons, and learn as much as I can from people all over the world. It's kind of funny and ironic, though. A lot of foreigners are dying to move to Vietnam, while we, the locals, are grinding like crazy to go abroad. But yeah, that's my story for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.